中央人民广播电台，中央人民广播电台，中国之声。
I had the opportunity to speak with an artist named Josh Reim, who is based out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He was able to say things about music I never considered. He proposed new theories of understanding music, and, well, I won't go into too much detail. Go ahead and listen.
All right. Just you can be as vague as you want in this question. I always tell people that, but where are you from?
I'm from Montreal, Canada.
Très bon. You are the second Quebecois I've talked to today. Uh,
Interesting.
and this is my second Go Habs Go. Uh,
Not really a big Habs fan. I don't follow sports.
it's
So,
so who are your guys like music wise? Who does it for you?
honestly, not to sound like a pretentious jerk, but not many people. It's usually songs. It's usually songs.
Songs?
Yeah, like a single song by an artist that I really like, and then I've just been collecting songs for my whole life.
That's interesting. And I get that because sometimes like there'll be a really good song by one artist and then the rest of the songs just sound like nothing like it, right?
Exactly. Or they're just like all their work is leading to that one song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get exactly what you mean. And as I got older and got outside of like the hardcore and black metal bubbles, and like I started listening to like pop music and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's where you really like find,
Right. There's a big difference because those musicians are trying to write a hit.
yeah,
People in hardcore and black metal, it's like they're just like experimenting mostly, you know? It's not really, they don't have the goal of making a chart topping hit.
yeah. So is your like playlist like I don't know if you use like what medium you use for music, but is it all like just songs
I
and
mean, I don't really listen to music to be honest. When I was
really?
younger, I really liked like Blady and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, even younger, like maybe Burzum, like, you know, I think that what was I gonna say? I think that Burzum, the interesting thing about it is that his sounds are so high fidelity, but it's like all distorted, you know? So it's like a
Hmm.
weird juxtaposition.
I would love to see what his recording setup looked like.
Yeah,
Because I know the original Burzum record, he said he was going to try to make it sound the worst he could while still being listenable. But you listen to it and it sounds like pretty good. And
yeah,
that
it's
might
crisp.
just,
I don't know
yeah.
about all his music, but
And it's like, and I listen to mostly cassettes and over the radio because that's like my two things. So I'm used to hearing like not great quality music, but it's
right.
what I enjoy. But then I listen to Burzum like through Spotify and it's like, this sounds like fairly clear.
Yeah, he must have stolen like a Newman mic or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something's going on. So what's your setup? What do you produce on?
I use GarageBand, but I use these HG800s, and I use Genelec speakers.
Hmm.
So the way I hear it is really really high quality, even though the program itself is like minimal and like there's not that many options.
Right.
I actually prefer it that way.
So you like how minimal it is?
Yeah, exactly.
I get that completely. The Ableton and Fruity Loops and all those are so cumbersome, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world to use.
Yeah, they're not that intuitive compared to GarageBand.
No, no.
That's sort of what I do with the electronic sounds. Like every drum sound gets its own track.
Mhm. Yeah, I see. That's what we're going to get to because there's something I noticed about the drums. Um, but one other question: do you play live, or are you just purely in the
I
studio?
played live before, yeah, at
Okay.
a system in Montreal.
Okay. So a lot of people I've talked to are all like only record
Okay,
and
no,
that's
I
it.
play live. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. See, I think that's and it's just you, right? You don't have
just
any.
me. Yeah.
See, that's fun because then you don't have to worry about if someone's gonna show up or not.
Oh,
Or
you still have to worry.
oh yeah, yeah, I guess. But no, it's I don't
I
know.
mean, in terms of audience, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, the audience, but it's not like is the drummer gonna be there?
exactly, exactly.
That's a
Yeah,
very real.
one of my last shows, actually, my USB didn't work, so I had to because I play like my backing tracks while I sing,
Uh-huh.
and so I had to just plug in my phone and play my whole album off my phone.
Wow. I mean, that's like saving the day. Like,
Exactly. Yeah,
you
it worked.
know,
I pulled it off. Yeah.
there is that guy, I'm sure you know him, Bomb the Music Industry. He would play, he would just plug his phone in and then just play guitar over it.
Okay.
And like,
Similar.
so like, I guess, I mean, if it works, um, I really enjoyed reading like your description of what you wrote. And logic is finite is something I really like because I had to sit there and I had to think about my own personal understanding of logic
Right.
and what is logic. And I've never thought about is it something that is finite or not.
Okay.
So, can you say anything
Yeah,
about that?
I have a lot to say about that.
Good.
I I what's a more specific question you would like to
Oh,
answer?
just so what because it's something that it's so for instance, I agree that logic is finite. I've come to the agreement, and this is just for me thinking for a small amount of time. But given that my basis in understanding the world is that there are only materials and their movements, then logic must be finite because we can't create more of it, right?
Right. Well, logic is implied that there's a right and a wrong. You know what I mean? There's a
Mhm.
logical a process, and the logic is an endpoint. So that's just how I think about it. That like just like there are words in the English language, just like there are letters that make up those words. There's not an infinite alphabet. You know what I mean? It does arrive and finish at a certain point. So
Right.
just like that, you have music. There's only so many notes. There's only so many things we can hear as humans. So it is limited. There is an end.
That's interesting. And it's with music, I think about the kind of the 60s and when the electric guitar and pedals started to become, but eventually, and with synthesizers, we're gonna run out of noises to make, right? Like there's an endpoint. It's somewhere.
Even there's an end point to what we can hear. So we
Yeah,
can make new sounds if we develop new technologies. That would be the next thing, which is what I'm doing also, but
right.
that
So
later.
with it, not to harp on this too long, the logic, do you think there is a at the endpoint where logic ends, there's an endpoint somewhere. Do you think that that's going to be something meaningful, or do you think that that's going to be something that we just kind of shrug and say, there it is?
I think it will happen, and I feel like I've done it actually with stuff after my last album that is just on my SoundCloud.
Hmm.
I'm really done making music for until technology changes. Um, yeah, I think that most people are not even going to realize it, and unless you because they haven't even thought about this logic thing. And so when you show most people something really beautiful, it usually just goes over their head as just another thing. Like music is metaphysical. It's just like you can't even touch it, you can't see it. It all exists within the sound spectrum. So
Hmm.
like if you can't physically hold it and see it in 3 dimensions, you're just gonna and you don't know and even if you don't know music, like you're just gonna be like, oh, this is another song, you know?
Right.
You don't see that there are really huge tiers of difference between the best song in the world and like a song that is just like improvisation or whatever.
Right. The philosophy of music would be extremely interesting, like in that kind of applied terms. Because there is, I actually took a course in philosophy of music, and it was not what you just said would have been infinitely more interesting to think about than what I was told for those 3 months.
Thank you.
Um, but that is incredibly. Uh, I find that so compelling, the statement that I'm done making music until essentially like there is a new way to make music. Like I find that the most admirable thing I've heard somebody say thus
Thank you.
far in these interviews. Uh that is amazing to me. And
Yeah, I'm not trying to just make noise, you know. I'm really just trying to write what needs to be written, uncover that.
yeah.
I truly think that like creativity and art and stuff, it's not subjective, it's completely objective to me.
Mhm.
It's not even what I want, it's not even my own thing. It's like what I'm discovering are the patterns of nature, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that there is the art for art's sake and then the art for utility? Do you
Exactly.
believe in art for utility? Like, for instance,
Only, yeah, only.
I think that
I mean, I do.
hardcore music is extremely art for utility. Like, I don't think that's art for art's sake. I think that that has an explicit political message
Right.
and it's
There's
doing
definitely,
something.
I know I agree with that, but it's more of a intellectual function. It's not as much of of um a sound designed for a certain space it's more like I feel like half of that is subjectivity where the artists are doing it just to express themselves, you know. They're
Mhm.
like, we hate the Big Brother, you know, we're just gonna like rip it
Yeah.
and get all that heat out.
I will say that the one thing, and as much as I love hardcore and grew up with hardcore, I hate hardcore as well, as much, you know how it is to
And
be
there's
in one of
good
those
stuff in
spaces.
every genre, you
But
know?
the band, and I've considered them in my life, and probably in a lot of other people's lives for the same reason, the most important hardcore band ever was Descendants, because I grew up and I was like, I don't know who the Sandinistas are. I don't know who Ronald Reagan is, but I know that my parents suck, and I know that girls won't talk to me, and that's what they're writing songs about. And
Right,
it's
so it's relatable, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's like a kind of utility to like
Oh,
make
for
to
sure.
make people not feel alone,
But
like
in that sense, there's utility to almost everything because there are people who enjoy even bad stuff, you know? So like even the,
yeah. Um,
but do you like Slint?
mhm.
Okay,
So,
big Slint fan.
um, there's not much I don't enjoy. Um, but one thing I was noticing when listening, I'll do a thing when somebody sends me their music where I'll write down the words that come to my mind as I'm listening to it to try to kind of understand how I'm feeling. And one of these words I hate that I used because I really hate it's an overused word, but I couldn't think of another one in the time it took me to get to my next thought. But the four that came to me were this is the word I hate: liminal, uneasy, rendering familiar, and then contradictory was kind of what I summed it up as, but not in a way that was they're at odds with each other. It's just it felt like I was feeling different things that you wouldn't feel together. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah, like
It's
more complex
it's a
emotions.
very complex emotion. It's an emotion that doesn't have a name. And I wrote below it, and this is something that I can say over the FM airwaves because no one can track me, is that it very much reminded me of something called, because it gives you that same feeling of contradictory feelings, but not in a bad way. It's
Like
a
fractals almost.
very much, it is very much geometric patterns
Okay,
that maybe they don't line up when you look at three or four of them, but when you move back, they can create
right.
these uh beautiful almost like if you were to look at like stained glass in like an Orthodox church very closely and then take a step back.
I was
Like
thinking like a kaleidoscope. Yeah,
yeah, that's very much what the beginning sounded like. And as I went on, like I had mentioned earlier, you introduced the drums. You really introduced the drums. And the kick sound you used, just it sounded not like it had so much thud, but just like an oomph. And also there were some very cool vocal samples. The way that, I don't know, the way that the vocal samples sounded, they didn't sound too upfront, but a lot of times when people make music, the vocals just sound so buried. Do you know what
Right.
I
I
mean?
wanted them to sit in the track, but not like buried. Exactly.
Exactly. And not over, they had a little, just the right amount of bass. It's hard to describe. Not like they were bassy, but they had enough to where your attention was there. You know,
Right.
you
Yeah.
were like, this is part of the song.
Right.
It
The
sounded
song.
it sounded like an instrument more than a sample.
Right.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
That does.
Um, so through all of this, what was the the part that you, not that you put the most heart into, but where did you feel like the project really came together, or was it just the whole thing?
I guess it's hard to trace it back because I feel like it started when I was born.
Hmm.
But I guess it came together when the label guy who I was working with, he put the songs in an order where it just clicked, and so it was amazing to see that happen, and it was
Yeah.
someone else's decision. So
So this is kind of a lifelong autobiographical, or not autobiographical per se, but
it's like a
uh,
manifesto. Yeah,
yeah, it's everything that's culminated to make you a person. You know,
exactly.
all
Yeah.
the experiences you collect kind of come out. And that's an amazing thing to be able to do. To be able to take everything about you and everything you know and have something and say, look, like this is, you know,
Exactly.
not,
It's eternal, like I can die in this, and music doesn't decay. So it's like it's there and it will always be in its pristine form.
yeah, that's amazing. That's the most interesting thing anyone has told me about their music, like
Thank you.
by far.
Thanks.
Um, and I know that people are going to love it, hearing it. Um,
And what's interesting about it, what I find is like I've made it kind of like how Kubrick made his movies, where everything is such a conscious decision from the tiniest detail that you can listen to it the first time and just kind of accessible, so you can enjoy it just as a tune, in the car. But the deeper you go, the more layers you peel back, and there's always something new that you can like derive from it.
yeah. It's been great talking to you. Is there anything else you want to throw out there? Anything you want to promote?
Uh,
What's a link to find this? Just the link you sent me?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's the single album that
Hmm.
I just released. But Instagram or SoundCloud, just my SoundCloud URL to
Okay.
mine. But yeah, if I wanted to promote something, I guess I'm working on this project called You,
Hmm.
and it's a physical computer. And basically, it's an anti-computer with no internet, and it allows you to create anything you want, from architecture to music to film, all in a single program. So there's no programs, it's a single software, a single interface, and it will be out in 2027.
Me and you will stay in contact so that I can
Good.
see this because that sounds great.
Thank you.
That was an interview with Josh Reim on 88.7 FM Radio Free Memphis. You can find more from Josh on Instagram at josh.reim. You can also find more on his SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/joshreim. Thank you for listening. Now, let's enjoy some of Josh's music.
中央人民广播电台，中央人民广播电台，中国之声。